What would you think if someone you admire says that happiness can be represented by a mathematical equation? When you analyze the moments when you were happy, there is one common thing across all these happy moments that can be represented by mathematical equation. In this video, I will share 3 points from this video, namely regarding the happiness, that will make you think differently. I've read dozens of different definitions of happiness over the years, but this podcast was a game changer. And honestly, if I take the thoughts I had before, and for example, starting from my childhood, I thought if I grow up, I will be happier. And for example, I will be happier if I graduate school and enter university. I will be happy if I have this well-paid job. And also, I will be happier if I will be okay with starting conversation with good girls, or I will be happy if I get rid of this social anxiety, or I will be happy after getting some point or after some event. And obviously, I was seeking for happiness as everyone else. If I didn't make a research, read the books, articles, or discover new people, new successful people whom I can admire and learn from, I would probably have totally different mindset, especially in terms of happiness. And probably I would live life with a definition set by my surrounding, by society. And I think I still would looking for some strategies and tools to make me happier, and not still, but I would live life for seeking happiness the whole life. I recently listened to podcast episode of Diary of CEO with Mo Gaudat. I think it's one of the best episodes I've ever listened. Even though I listen only this entrepreneurship, business related podcasts only. And I've noticed how after listening this podcast, I became more happier. I started feeling myself much more better. And of course, I constantly remember these points. I look through these points I made from this podcast. And I've never made points from the podcast, but this one was exceptional. So the first point is happiness equation, that is represented by Mo Gaudat and his son Ali. Happiness is greater or equal to the perception of events in your life minus your expectations of life, how it should be. And Mo Gaudat provides a really good example, and he says your partner said something hurtful on Friday 4 p.m. That's the event. You say yourself after this that she doesn't love me anymore, and that's your perception of event, not event itself. But event is something hurtful was said. This perception is work of your brain. Your brain adds some details, some colors to it, and you compare with your expectations. And to avoid this, you should ask yourself, is it actually true? Can I do something about it? And he also states that the happiness is a choice. So the second point is importance of being present. He stated really interesting idea that nobody has clue what time is. At the moment, if you think about regret from the past or anxiety from the future, it doesn't mean that you have something wrong. Thinking about the past or future itself means that everything okay right now, because you are not worrying about the present moment. And basically, nobody would reverse or change the history, change the hard things they went through, they lived through.
Regret is anchored in the past. It's about something that happened in the past, and it's negative. You take something like anxiety. Anxiety is anchored in the future. It's about something that might happen in the future, and it's negative. Okay? The majority of negative emotions are anchored in the past and the future. The majority of positive emotions are anchored in the present moment. Okay? If you're here and now, there's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, think about it this way. If you're listening to us having this conversation as one of our listeners, by definition, there is no tiger trying to eat you. You know, the reality that, which is really shocking, the reality that you can feel unhappy about something in the past and the future is in itself evidence that now is okay. Because if there was a tiger trying to eat you right now, you wouldn't be thinking about losing your job in 3 weeks. Okay? Yeah. So the truth is, every time, remind yourself that the fact that I'm thinking about past and future is itself evidence that now is fine. There is a roof on top of my head. I'm obviously not starving. Okay? You have an electronic device that allows you to listen to us. Life is okay.
And he provided this eraser test that he made in Google X. It's a thought experiment with over 12,000 people in Google X, and there they pinpointed an event in their memory and go back to that event, erase it, and erase everything that came after this event. And there he firstly said, write down the most dramatic event in your life. And secondly, make a choice. Do you really want me to erase it or not? And thirdly, be aware. If I erase it, you erase everything came after this point, came after this event. Every friend, every event, every lesson you learned, every resilience you gained after this event. And the result was 99.9% would give it. Said no. If all your past harsh and trouble experiences were really painful, but how they important right now? But maybe this one too has great importance to the who you become in the future. Maybe this event gonna make you who you are. I really recommend to listen to full episode of this podcast. They also speak about romantic love and the great pandemic of our time. And it's not the pandemic, COVID or something related, it's more about the IE, nuclear weapons and threats of the humanity. I think you will find it really valuable this podcast. They host lots of great people, successful people from all sorts of life. So it was Muradul Mirhamidov, and I believe you liked this kind of video where I make summaries or share with some points from different books or podcasts I listen to and share my own experience. So I will see you again in the next videos. Bye.